Hello, Internet, and welcome to Red Jenny. We're here to play some Dragon Age TTRPG goodness, and we are so excited to have you here. We're about to be getting into some new stuff today. We'll get into that in a bit. But first, before we get started, like always, welcome to the channel. I'll go over what we've got going on right now, assuming you like what you see here today and you want to join us for more stuff in the future. Our next regularly scheduled live stream, tabletop stream, will be tomorrow. That will be Escape Velocity at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. They are playing Stars Without Number, so you should go and hang out with them for that. And throughout the week, I think we've got our regularly scheduled programs. Thursday, we'll be back with Elegance and Vigilance. Saturday, we will have our double header of Strixhaven and Ward 47. So join us for all those shows throughout the week and any video game streams in between. RJ and I have been doing a Nuzlocke run that ran into some terrible mishap yesterday where his game crashed and he lost all his progress, but I had my progress, and so we're gonna
he didn't lose all of his progress.
He lost essentially
like
a gym and everything leading up into the next gym that we had gotten to.
Oh no!
So
in y'all's defense, you did spend half that stream just feeding your Pokemon candy. So
okay, not half, but yeah.
I had time to watch a lot of that montage. Get up, exchange loads of laundry, fold 2 loads of laundry, come back, and you guys are still eating candy.
We had beaten all the people in the gym, and then we're juicing our people some more. So we had done some other stuff between.
If anything, watch it for the frantically sped up Pokemon music.
Would you rather us frantically shove candy into our Pokemon's faces or grind for for an hour?
Both.
And I think
that's all I want to watch.
But yeah, so we may be starting a new thing on Friday. We may be kind of hand waving some stuff and catching RJ up so that we can keep going with this run. We'll let you know. That's it, I think, as far as channel announcements. Join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff too. Links below our faces. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let my players here, introduce themselves, talk about who they are and what they do on and off the channel and who they're playing tonight. Starting with Van.
Hi, I'm Van. You can find me on the internets at Savvy Seaworth, pretty much wherever you can find people on the internets. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Hive Social. Mostly, I'm hanging out on Discord, posting about how it would be really fun to play a D&D character that used Yu-Gi-Oh cards as a tarot deck. TM, that's my idea. You can't have it, it's mine now. And streaming on this channel Thursdays through Mondays, playing games or running them. Like Val mentioned, I run D&D on Saturday mornings. We're in the midst of the Witchlight Carnival and it's going great, and mysteries abound because it's me. And then Sunday nights you can find me on twitch.tv/lbhackemup. This coming week playing in a one-shot, and then the week after getting back to play Things of the Gods. Val didn't mention it, but we're also playing a video game together on this channel.
I think it's just because we hadn't decided when we're doing that again. But
either tomorrow or this weekend or whenever I feel like it.
I may just double up, and because RJ and I are probably gonna be doing ours early on Friday, we could just keep
Maybe
it going.
we'll just do it Friday night.
Maybe Friday night. After that.
I started playing Dark Souls Remastered, the bad one where you can only roll in 4 directions.
The remastered is not that
You just said the bad one, and we're about to get like some big old.
The only things I have to compare it to are Sekiro and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's also me too, so I understand that 100%.
Except we made a character called Moon Baby, and they're a perfect angel, and I beat a boss, and I met Solaire, my favorite man. So we'll keep playing Dark Souls, probably. I'm having a great time being pretty bad at it, actually. It's hard when you can't roll in all directions.
You're not bad at it.
I don't have the Elden Ring finesse. But I'm not doing any of that today. Today,
what are you doing, Van?
Today I'm playing Venehn, who is... I forgot to put my new name cards up. I'll do that while you guys are talking. Who is an elven marksman, the closest to nature of the party.
I believe I'm next. Hey, I'm Shina Sid. You can find me all over the internet at Greek Sid, except IG, where I'm Girl Karma. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. You can find me here Thursday through Monday, playing and running games. Like Val mentioned, I run our game of Elegance and Vigilance on Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern. We're back to our roots. It's good society with some D&D just smushed on in there, filling in all the cracks and stuff. It's great. We're having a great time with it. It's Regency superheroes and lots of sexual tension. Definitely check it out. This evening, I will be playing Yasmera Maras. She is our shadow rogue, and she is, I would say she has the most parent issues of the party.
That's really easy when your parents are still alive.
Sup, y'all? It's me, Wally, your favorite non-binary. Your favorite non-binary / best friend on the internet. You can find me on the Twitter at WALE132, talking about my hyper focuses and the things that I love, and also the games that I play. You can find me Thursdays through Saturdays in all the games that they've already mentioned, like on Thursday, where I'm playing, or I'm in my edgelord phase of TTRPG characters. Yeah, I'm 100% of my edgelord phase of TTRPG characters, and I'm not backing down from it. I'm going full ham on it. Tonight, though, you can find me playing Garas, the elven rogue, whose dad is cooler than yours. Yeah, his dad is cooler than yours. Like, go on, try to question it. Is your dad Sly Cooper? No. Then his dad is especially cooler than yours.
I haven't seen my father in 10 years, but thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, but he's still cooler than yours.
Mine died in a fire.
Still cooler than yours.
Your dad
Oh
wouldn't
no,
have died
literally.
in a fire.
No, he wouldn't.
Wow!
Dab away the sadness,
That was
man.
awesome.
Dab away the sadness, man.
I'm so glad you said that to my face.
Oh my gosh.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh. That was great.
Sita, you have to talk now.
Go on, Sita.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sita. You can find me being able to directly face the camera. You can find me here every Monday night playing this beautiful game with these beautiful people. You can also find me every other Tuesday night at the aforementioned Escape Velocity game. I think this week we are going to be fighting some magical flesh strings that can absorb matter. It's going to be really cool. You can also find me on the Discord here at GGK, if I can ever get Discord to load on my computer again, or lurking in any of the other aforementioned games, as I do a lot of that recently. Tonight, I will be playing Andros Philippe Bastille du Cartier, or Carter, the Sorcerer of the Strange, the only one in the party, and the one most in tune with the Dreaming Realm.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. Which he will randomly send you like Tim and Eric level dreams. So.
Oh my god, yeah, it was terrifying. All right, my
Just
turn.
you wait. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. Hi everyone, I'm Val. You can find me at the Kraken's Crown, lurking around the internet. I'm here Thursdays through Mondays. Jeez, I almost went in verse. That's how I experience time sometimes. I play and run in games. I, other than this game, run another game on Saturdays. The second part of our doubleheader, Ward 47, we played Parslings, and just had a traumatic experience in our I will probably go
What
down as one of the
the
most
fuck.
traumatic thing that's ever happened, and that wasn't a choice on my part. That was bad rolls
That just
and
happened. The
poor
universe
player,
wanted that to happen.
It
poor
just
player decisions.
it just went out there into the ether, that thing.
I mean, I plan on blaming RJ for that because RJ's been gunning to lower his coherency for the last 20 something episodes.
But that was really just bad polls.
But it really was bad polls. So, but yeah, if you want to know what we're talking about, join us on Saturdays for that nonsense because we're gonna be dealing with the fallout from that. And also, so my players here don't know about that. I've been planning on doing this, but got a little teaser of it in our chat earlier this week. On Sunday, I'm running a one shot based in a campaign setting that came to me in a dream. I'm going to be test running a new campaign setting that may appear on this channel some point in the future for a long-term campaign, which I'm calling High Fantasy, which is it's going to be a One Piece inspired swashbuckling adventure. That's going to be over on LB Hackmo's channel on Sunday night at whenever we start that game,
8:30 Eastern.
8:30 Eastern time. So I'll be running some of the crew through that. Join us there. I think that's it. Are y'all ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. Recap time. Let me change our music a little bit. Recap should be pretty short today because most of the last session was a combat encounter. Y'all had successfully escaped from Chateau Hein, where you had been imprisoned as a very surreptitious and kind of accidental attempt to rescue a group of Karta dwarves who had been arrested while smuggling a shipment through Cumberland. You had successfully escaped from the chateau with the equipment that you had burgled from the vault and were beset by a wyvern that came screeching out of the night sky and attacked your group. There was a lot of maneuvering, fighting this creature, defending your cargo, and trying to overcome it without killing it. Some of you feeling a little bit bad or wanting to preserve this creature that seemed to be, doing its thing, living in its territory, hunting, following its natural instincts. And you put a couple of pieces together, Venn kind of leading the charge using the collar that you had stolen from the chateau, clamping it around the wyvern's neck, and exerting enough control to calm the creature using the strange dwarven runes that were embedded in the collar to pacify it. Learning that this collar had the ability, essentially has the ability to tame a beast such as a wyvern permanently through extended exposure to this collar. Now, Venn, being of nature, as Van said, decided you did not want to permanently sort of domesticate this wyvern, instead electing to find a place to take it peacefully, where it could hunt away from people. So you made the decision after the fight that Venn and Carter would go to take the rehabitat the wyvern, while Yaz and Garas returned with your Karta friends, new Karta companions, back to Cumberland, where your escape vehicle, your escape cart, lay in waiting. You said goodbye to your dwarven companions there as they look to find a ship to head back to Orzammar, and you returned to, or began your journey back to Val Royeaux, or at least to the Red Jenny Winery, with your new friend, Orlo, who is at least bumming a ride with you for the time being. Sorry, Ordo, not Orlo. And then, where we ended off last time, Carter had a sent a spooky dream to Yaz to let you know that they're okay and they'll be back in a couple weeks, kind of falling behind, or in a couple days falling behind, and and then Carter received a spooky dream in return as some sort of karmic justice. And that's where we left off last time.
I'm straight up dynamiting that fucking hill behind the winery, I swear to God. It's just not going to exist when y'all come back.
Go
It's gonna be a
ahead,
big
man, but
crater.
you're gonna end up blowing up a lot of our freaking vineyard if that keeps going.
Yeah. So this is going to come as a little bit of a surprise to y'all. We know we have downtime, but we're going to kind of speed through. We're going to hit our downtime process now. You're traveling back. The travels are fine. There aren't currently any like dark spawn incursions that have made it this far south, so I'm not really worried about y'all's traveling in safety. I think Carter and Venehn, it just takes a bit of time for you to get back to Cumberland, get some horses, and head back to Valroyo. So you're arriving probably a couple of weeks, a couple of days later. No. How long did I say it took you to get to? I think I said it took you like a couple of days to get out to where you want to take the Wyvern to, a couple of days to get back, a couple of days to get there. So probably a week later than the rest of them do. I want to sort of speed up a couple of things here because we're going to be hitting through our downtime period in the wake of this job, and this downtime period is going to cover 6 months. Which, as you can tell from my players' faces, is a bit of a shock. But I have a couple of things that I'm going to sort of explain that happens during this downtime, what transpires in sort of the wake of this, a little bit of a montage, and then I'm going to hit up each of you for a quick scene, something you do during the downtime. I already have something for Carter that you said you wanted to do at the end of the last session, so you can do that unless you decide you want to do something otherwise. I have something for Venehn too, so Garas and Yaz, I didn't have anything specific for the two of you, so if you come up with something, we can do that with the with your actions during this. But as I said, it's going to be 6 months, so one scene and then sort of broad strokes, anything else you might get up to. But a few weeks after you all arrive back at the Red Jenny Winery, I assume you probably share some information. Carter, I don't know if you share that. You share the dream that you had with everyone?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can discuss that or figure it out since it seemed kind of prophetic in nature. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But a few weeks after Carter and Venehn return, a Carter representative comes back comes to the Red Jenny and delivers your payment for the job. You receive your 3,000 silver pieces as promised to you by Dakin, with an additional 500 silver piece bonus and a note that says that the dwarves the date that you rescued essentially chipped in for a bonus for you because you saved them. So they send that along as well. So with the 15% taken off for your seneschal, bard, and procurer, that's going to be 2,975 silver that you have received. Did the math ahead of time, so I didn't have to do it now.
2,975.
75. So you split the roughly 525 silver pieces amongst your employees for their assistance in this job, or just their general assistance and their pay for working for you. But like I said, 6 months after this pass, we fall out of through the end of summer, through fall, and into the heart of winter. The winery is fully up and running. Many contracts. You've obtained some contracts both in Valroyo and other cities in Orlais, and even outside of Orlais. You have some shipments that you've sent to all the way up north to Voldoma is the furthest kind of away, which is sort of on the outskirts of the Tevinter Imperium, but also Redcliffe down in Ferelden and Wycombe in the Free Marches. There are a couple places that have picked up your vintages, maybe tried them at some of the local places in where they were traveling through Valroyo, set up some contracts to have some small shipments delivered to them. So business is picking up for your front at this first time, and it's doing
Yaz
pretty
has
well.
been experimenting with like chicken, like egg shells to like, bring up the nutrients in the soil. Like we have a decent wine now. Guys.
Yeah.
You paused
you
a
gotta-
lot during some of those words, and boy, were we hanging on every
I'm
single
sorry.
one of them.
Flavor?
I have
With chicken?
I was like,
Chicken?
wait, is this for the
Egg.
wine?
Oh,
Elves?
Shells.
shells.
Oh,
Soil.
I see.
Oh.
I see.
Egg
Yeah.
shells.
But this just gives me the image of Yaz in a big old gardening hat that has 2 holes cut in it for her horns, and I'm really liking this image.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that a lot too. But yeah, no, you had a really good harvest coming into fall of your wineries of your from your vineyard. Obviously, in the summer now, more of the other than maybe some select more winter faring crops, you're not producing as much right now. I imagine maybe some of the harvest you're freezing to try some different brewing methods in the spring.
Ciders.
yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, but your business at the winery is, you're not the top winery. You're probably not on most nobility's tables, but you are at least
Not that wine, anyway.
yeah, well, you are well known in some select circles. However, maybe to Ven's point, your other's business picks up too. Your as the friends of Red Jenny, your bard, which I put name in parentheses. I put name ? Because you haven't given me a fucking name for this bard yet. So
Was that not Nadine?
No, Nadine's are
no,
our fence-
Nadine's
our-
your procurer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a name.
Wait,
for
I'll
your
go to
bard
fantasy name generator.
right now.
Where are they
because-
from?
Right now.
Where are they from, everybody?
This
This is me picking
Where?
which European name generator I'm gonna use.
There is a Dragon
Oh.
Age name generator.
I have to find that one.
It's in fantasy name generator, I think.
It's under pop culture and Dragon Age, and then it breaks it up into humans.
Culture?
We want them
Elves
to be
and-
kind of exotic because they could be Deventer.
That's Dark Souls. There we go, Dragon Age.
Well,
Human?
Nadine is dwarven.
Nadine is
Should we
dwarven,
get another
and
human up in the mix?
Reggie is human.
Reggie is human.
Oh, why don't we go for elf then, since
Okay.
to like mix it up?
No, not Dragon Ball. That's different.
That's very different name.
That's
But a
very
Frisia
different.
and clan name. Elven. Cool elf name. Go. I don't like any of those. Alasan.
Alison? How do you spell that?
Allasan.
Okay.
It doesn't give the clan names.
I'm fine with just going with the first name. Maybe they're a city elf.
They're a mononym.
They're
like,
mononym.
like share.
Yeah.
Alison. I like that too.
what
I
are-
mean, they
what
are
are
bards.
pronouns?
So.
What
Pronouns?
Let's go with they them because you have a he
Yeah.
and a she.
Yeah.
So let's just hit in the middle.
Sure.
Yeah.
There we go.
As we know,
Uh,
everyone who uses they
the-
them pronouns is directly in the center of the spectrum.
Exactly, directly in the center.
Precise.
Somewhere in the middle. So we have Reginald, very stoic, kind of uptight, maybe cuts loose every now and then, and then you have Nadine, who you've described as a kind of a flirt, a little bit.
I describe her as
She-
Fantasy Leah.
She used to run a
Okay.
brothel.
Okay, so Alison,
No,
sorry, Nadine
Nadine.
did. Nadine did.
Nadine,
So
yeah.
what descriptor do you think you have for one word descriptor for Alison?
Cool. Like they're very, very cool.
Okay.
Like so cool that even Ven is like, damn.
Damn, they're fucking cool, dude.
Okay. All right.
How about like a sassy cool? So get some good barbs.
I
in
mean,
that
I'm
you
playing
would
them. They're
really
going to be
be like,
sassy.
hey,
so
yeah,
don't
I-
worry
came
about
up with
that.
Do you know the personality I'm imagining? Dario Naharis.
Yeah.
From Game
No,
of
I
Thrones.
get that.
Oh, I can
mean,
see that.
Just
Yeah.
like thinks they're too cool.
The
for school.
original one.
Yeah.
Or the
Um,
one from the book who speaks in quips and innuendo.
So back to my
That kind of
back to my recap or my read in here. So the your other business has picked up as well. Allison has picked up some contracts for you throughout these next 6 months, and you get kind of busy. It starts up slow at first, and it starts picking up. You think that maybe the Carta members that you've helped, like they've spread your name around a bit. You're getting some business, like some referrals based on that, and then Allison talking you up a bit in some of the local dives and bars in Valrio. Most of your jobs are pretty standard: stealing art, jewels, blackmail, extortion, that kind of stuff. But you have a couple that get a little bit more creative, a little bit more your Friends of Red Jenny style. There's one where a heartbroken tailor asks you to get revenge against a noble she was having an affair with, who promised to marry her and then became betrothed. So you come up with to a prominent noblewoman, and you come up with a scheme to essentially seduce the noble and have them break off the betrothal and leave them high and dry in the end.
That's
kind
a
of
quest from
honeypot
Fable.
Scheme. Yes, it is. Moving on, the carpenter. You have another quest or another job where a carpenter is being driven out of business by a powerful merchant who is duplicating their work and then selling it at unreasonably lower prices. So you break into their shop and paint all their inventory a lime green color every week.
That one was definitely Venenn's idea.
That was Venenn's idea, 100%.
Should we just burn it down? No, I have a way better idea. And it'll be way cheaper too.
So every week, as soon as he replaces his inventory, he's coming in and everything is just been painted lime green and has to fully restock again until he has to close his doors and move out.
I can't
of the
get
city.
it out from under my fingernails.
Just paint their nails lime green
Paint
until
your
they grow
nails,
out.
paint your nails lime green. It
Once-
does that, yeah.
Once he actually has to close his doors as sort of a final stick it to the man, we go and paint those doors lime green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last job.
Sorry, did you want us to editorialize your great
No,
quest?
no, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted you all to figure out like who does that, who does what, like, and the other one I have here is a head servant is fired if they are accused of stealing jewelry from their employer when their shitbag of a daughter lied about taking it. So you break into their home when they are vacationing and hide hornet nests in their walls of their home.
Bees.
The classic Red Jenny bit.
Yeah.
Classic Red Jenny.
Also, I like to think that every time they go on these jobs, Garas has been stealing like something from every single one of these people, and he's been building his own trophy case, like his dad has been doing.
Sure, yeah.
Like in like the war room area.
Yeah, I like that. Those little little display of your accomplishments. But because of some of these jobs, I think are most notable as ones that probably people are talking about and ones that are more spoken of in public circles just because they're so weird. But the Friends of Red Jenny are becoming a bit more renowned, or I guess infamous across notorious across Valrio and maybe even a little bit outside the city, whispered of in servants' quarters, bar rooms, and back alleys. You do have a couple of times where maybe the law picks up a bit on, like, finds out the name Red Jenny is associated with this and comes by to question you and your staff about association with this criminal organization, taking the time to search your grounds and find any evidence, but they never discover your secret trove within the walls of your cellar.
Ne'er-do-wells just like alcohol. I don't really know. I mean, it was a really good name maybe they just, drunkenly saw it on a label or something.
I don't
There's also
appreciate.
a lot of people named Jenny, I feel.
Also, I don't appreciate you guards coming to our domicile, assuming just because we have the same name and you just associate us with criminals. That is some hardcore, you know.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. They're just doing their job.
They did.
Rude.
It was. They do call themselves.
So pretty much you're saying that every single
Garrus.
people that have Red Jenny up in their name. You know what? I'm going
goes
to.
around. Garas just goes.
Sorry for the inconvenience. If you notice anything with any of
He's just
your...
been working very hard lately. Do
Sure.
you know what? I tell you what. Yasmera's been like working on a little like new flavor concoction. You want to try it?
Well, we're on the job
Oh, just
right
a
now,
little
but
taster.
sure. Yeah, sure.
This is the pear cider. Yeah, just
Yeah, they try
raise
and
them up
then
a little bit.
I'm not above bribery.
They try and maybe
In
a
fact,
couple of
I'm
the
well
others
below bribery.
Yeah, that's also true.
They try it and maybe a couple of the others, and then when they're leaving, just say, "Well, if any of your clients coming here, or anyone hanging around the winery seems a little bit suspicious, just give us a call."
We'll call you directly, George.
And they leave. But yeah, you've avoided detection so far, and like I said, most of your efforts are being maintained as sort of below the public eye because you work very closely with, the common folk.
And then we have to have a talk about how Garas, I know it's tough, but you can't try to fight every cop on site.
Why not? They are rude. They are. Okay, fine. We'll not. I will not
Business
fight.
owners now, they will shut us down. Then where are we going to hide all of our good stuff?
In other news, despite your good fortune, Thetis as a whole is becoming ever more disrupted by the Darkspawn incursion. The whispers are turning into almost full-blown panic within most of the countryside and the city. The prices in Valrio are climbing as trade routes are being disrupted by the war, and the wardens are continuing their struggle against the Darkspawn. Hossberg still remains under siege. And the Darkspawn, continuing where the Darkspawn still attacking Hossberg regularly, continuing to flood into the Anderfells from seemingly nowhere. Garahel has returned to the front lines in the north in Hossberg to rally the wardens and any recruiting that has been successful prior to the winter. And Isaiah writes sometime after you last see her to inform you that Sir Montfort has granted leave for the wardens to garrison in Chateau Hein, especially after the security incident they just had, and potentially needing his guards to be a little bit better trained. And she's working to excavate the undercroft below the keep, having discovered some passages beneath that could serve to further garrison the wardens as well as the nearby townsfolk should the Darkspawn incursion make it this far. So that's about everything that's going on over these 6 months, world events. Otherwise, it's a lot of business. Y'all are doing a lot of jobs. So I want to turn it over to you all for anything that you might want to get up to. Like I said, we'll do some quick actions and some scenes. We'll do essentially what I want to limit it to is one scene per person, and then we can discuss as sort of broad strokes anything else you do during this 6-month period. So who wants to go first?
I actually have a couple of pre-scene things.
Okay.
First of all, that first job, the one with the seduction. How do you guys feel about all three of you each individually went to try to seduce the noble, and they just weren't interested at all, and it had to fall to Carter?
And it had to be Carter.
Had to be Carter.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really awkward.
Just like, it's impossible. Nobody's going to be able to seduce this guy.
I feel like that Venn got really offended the first time because they were the first one to go out, and then they just got shut down hard.
Yaz went in, talked to him for 10 seconds, and just walked out going, I can't do this. Came back.
Like
Fuck
with
that guy.
with Garas just went in, and it was like 1 second later, like, nope.
You get kicked out.
Yeah.
Fucking racist.
Probably.
It's the character that'll only romance human men. Why would you limit yourself like that?
And then I also I don't. This isn't really a scene in my mind, but kind of more of my own little addition to the montage. Is over that 6 months, Carter is spending more and more time in the training yard, and with the spirit of Eckert. You see a lot. You'll see him communicating with the spirit either in the garden or like in his room, but oftentimes out in the training yard, where he is beginning to use weaponry, and it just seems very serious and preparing hard for the possibility of a darkspawn invasion making it all the way out here.
Yeah, I love that. Carter, I had a scene. Well, you had mentioned last time that you maybe wanted to do a scene with exhuming Eckert's body and bringing it back to his family. Is that still the scene you want to do, or do you want to say that happens and do something else? It's really up to you.
Well, I imagine that his family. I don't remember where I said he was from. I think it was the Anders. I think so. It might be kind of a trip to do that. I also don't know where his body is. So
I mean, his body would probably be in Valrio on Templar grounds. So that is probably where he would have been buried.
Yusha could help us out, maybe.
Yeah. Yusha could help us out with that one.
Yeah, I mean, you have connections for exhuming it, and like I said, I think probably the biggest obstacle to you is just the travel. Because if they are in Neanderthals, that is quite a trip. So I actually, what do you say to? Because here's my thought. Eckert was essentially executed. As for his betrayal, he is buried in the Tevinter grounds, but not necessarily in the most dignified way. So his body isn't much of a body at this point. It wasn't embalmed. There's no real body to transport. Do you think it would make sense for Carter that maybe you essentially cremated and gather the ashes to plan on transporting the ashes to his parents?
That could be good. What about his armor or halberd?
Yeah.
Is there any way of recovering that?
So here's the scene then, because I was trying to think of what I wanted the scene to be, but I actually have something. It may match up for. There may be another way to get the if his parents live in the Neanderthals. I guess you just need to tell me which city it might be in the Neanderthals.
Shoot, I don't know diddly buckus about.
And let's hope it's not
really. I know
Hosberg.
I know it's a big open area, and I just kind of imagine them being.
Yeah, so you have the major cities in the Neanderthals. You have actually, let's say Kassel. It's Kassel. It's a riverside settlement in the northern part of the Neanderthals, near the Colean Sea. That I think that kind of probably fits the bill. Isn't too out in the middle of nowhere, but isn't, like, again, under siege currently.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Why don't we just roll with what you had in mind? I trust that you've got some good ideas now.
Well, so yeah. Here's the scene I want to play out then. You have. I'm going to change the music a little bit. Let's get something. That might be too
spooky.
No, I'm going to stick with this.
I mean, it's Carter, so, you know.
Yeah, it's Carter. We'll get the spooky one out of the way, and probably all the others will just be. We ended spooky last time. We'll start spooky this time. It is the middle of the night. You have gone with Lucia. I imagine maybe Venehn and Garas and Yasmera have tagged along to maybe help for this too, as Lucia has leveraged the connections that she has and the goodwill that she has within the has within the Templar Order still to get you into the grounds to exhume Eckert's body. This is all being done off the books. Again, exhuming a executed, essentially a Templar who was stripped of their title and executed as a traitor, then they will is not a good look. And though some of the higher ups may know about it, given that you kind of have a special position here now, or a little bit of acknowledgement as for your assistance during the fade tearing at the tower previously, you are allowed entry, but it is well after dark that you are allowed to enter the grounds and conduct this grim business. You find the spot easy enough where Eckert would have been buried, and with the help of Lucia and the others, you dig for a while. The grave wasn't shallow, but it was crude, and the within probably about an hour of when you begin, with the help of everyone involved, you have reached a point where you begin to find the remains of Eckert's corpse. I think the first notice you have is a clinging of the shovel off of steel, and from that point you begin to sort of brush away the remains. And I think once you get to the point, do you think Carter maybe takes that task upon himself, and the others kind of step back in that moment to allow him to finish exhuming the body? That seemed appropriate to me, but
yeah. I also think that over these months, Carter has grown a lot, and you all have definitely gotten to see more of him. But it is in a moment like this where you guys have like a real eerie reminder that there is something wrong with Carter, because there's not a trace of emotion or hesitance as he's doing this. It's just as perfunctual as anything else that he does.
Yeah, so clinically, more like a
Carefully.
Carefully, but
Mm-hmm.
clinically, yeah, like more of a looking more like a mortician than a grieving lover. Carver continues to exhume the body, and unfortunately, I won't get too graphic, but it is in pieces. So just the nature of the decay. You find the armor and the body within, beginning to lay what bits actually remain to the side. The armor is probably in just as bad condition as the body. It has eroded, rusted. Some of it may be salvageable. Well, the leather straps and any of the bindings in between the metal pieces are very well decayed. The armor itself may be salvageable, but it would need some attention. And you get to the point where you've exhumed most of the body and have reached the point where you brush off a section of dirt, like clodding against the ground in this deep kind of damp earth, and you brush apart the white of Eckert's skull. And between that and the armor, there's also another, like a clinking noise as you brush away the dirt, and you see the kind of stained white of the or kind of off-white of the skull. There's a clinking as you brush the dirt aside, and you see a small dirt-covered metallic object that hits the armor piece.
Carefully dig away at that, and what is it?
You brush it aside and kind of pick up this piece, and as you clean it off, you realize it is connected with a loop of chain, and it's a like an amulet or a necklace of some kind. And make a check for me. Actually, let's do a. Let me get up my skill list here. A lot of things I love about this game, but having so many focuses is not one of them from the DM side all the time. You have arcane lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. That feels appropriate.
That's a 19, 4 stunt points if there's anything in there I can stun on.
Awesome. Exploration, so you can look at those stunts.
Man, exploration. I don't know if there's really anything that would make sense there. Let's see. Mm, that makes me wonder. In case there's any extra information that I
Okay.
could...
What so you, if there's any extra, so we'll read the thing for me again because I don't have it up.
Or the object of your attention that... Well, okay, so that makes me wonder says you can immediately make another perception test at no additional time, cost and time or resources to discover more information about your surroundings or the object of your test. The object of your attention, which is the same cost, says you receive a +1 bonus to further tests to examine or perceive additional aspects of the object of your test.
Okay. I want you to make one other check for me then.
Okay.
This is going to be a spirit magic test.
Nope. 17 on that one. No stunts.
It's also really good. You clean this object off as you're sitting here in this grave, and as you brush it away, you realize it's a talisman. It is specifically a Templar talisman. This would be what the wardens carry on them as part of their that sort of. It's not only a piece of authority, but with your arcane lore check, as you're looking at it, you also know that these talismans that the wardens carry help along with their lyrium infusions to bolster them against magic. That the Templars, the talismans they're given themselves have some sort of magical property, which helps to assist in that effect. Templars across, since the order was established, have carried these talismans, and it is a symbol of their authority. And what probably strikes you as odd is that he was buried with it, because by all accounts, you would think that they would have taken it away from him when he was executed. I think again, and I say executed, he died in battle, like he died fighting to save you, but it was considered an execution due to the nature of it. But yeah, so with your good rolls though, you notice something else about the talisman. It is warm.
I'll summon Eckert. I'll summon Eckert the Spirit.
Okay. Does that require a roll, or is it just something you do as an action?
It does require a roll, and that is magic creation. So
I won't have you for the sake of narrative. You don't have to roll. I was just curious whether it was something that just automatically happened or it was a test they had to make. But because it's a test, it sort of forms like it's something that you have to do and it's something you can fail on. But you're holding this talisman in your hand and you attempt to summon Eckert, and you can see that wisp beginning to form next to you. And it's normally like kind of a light greenish color when you summon it, as most things coming out of the fade are. Instead, this wisp sort of the color shifts into a more muddled, almost brownish, verging on black color, and then it disappears. You find yourself unable to reach at this time. As you're holding the talisman again, it's warm and that's unnerving enough. I imagine maybe looking over the talisman a little bit. There is you do know there's also a compartment in the talisman that usually contains a shard of lyrium as well. The compartment is currently closed. You pop it open, and you are immediately like there's a warm light that basks from it. Lyrium usually glows, sort of a bluish, like steady hue. As you are looking at it, though, what the light that emanates from this talisman is not blue, it is red. And you see nestled within this talisman is a single shard of red lyrium.
Do we know about red lyrium at this point in history?
I would say yes. It is something that is known. It is not something that is commonly encountered. Red lyrium does grow within the deep roads in places, but it's not nearly as prolific as it became in the later Dragon Age, with Gryphius and the events of the Fifth Blight. But it is not something that you probably have ever seen in person.
Okay. Well, I don't want us to get arrested, so I think that's going to be a mystery for another time. I'm going to close the medallion, pocket it, and I was kind of imagining we brought like a large chest to store what remains of Eckert we could get in his armor and weapon, and just put it in that until I can get the armor repaired and we can get it all back to his folks.
Okay. You continue exhuming the armor, and you find one other thing while you are exhuming it. This one won't require a roll or anything because it's pretty clear what it is as soon as you start to uncover it. Underneath or slightly next to Eckert's body is a long metallic object. It is a halberd. It is in surprisingly good condition for a object that has been buried down here this long. Eckert, I imagine, was very proud of this weapon. He probably brought it with him to the Templars when he joined, being a weapon that he obtained as sort of like a family relic. This is a fine quality, like a masterwork level halberd. It will probably require some repairs, some smithing to get it back sharpened, and replacing the grip and cleaning off the blade, but it is still in functioning order.
Wally, what's the name of the dwarf blacksmith that we have that contact with?
I don't remember his name, actually.
I believe it's Roderick.
Yeah.
Roderick. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll be going to him for all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a and I'm giving you with that spirit check too, because you did make that finding the red lyrium was a part of that. I want to give you as well. You know that Carter would know that what the effects of red lyrium are, and it's
It's not going to stay in
dangers.
my pocket.
Yeah, well, it's dangers, but you also know the craftsmanship of this talisman would mean that much of the effects of the red lyrium, like its spread, would be contained. But this is a slightly radioactive object. If you were in close proximity for it for a long period of time, you would begin to notice these effects.
Cool.
All right. That is it. Yeah, and Carter, so as far as other things you want to do during your downtime, I'll move us off the spooky music. We don't need this anymore.
I don't have anything specific, but if anybody wants to come and hang out with me, they're more than welcome to. I'm down for shenanigans.
But fixing
my
up.
dorm room door's open. Y'all can come hang out with me. We'll drink some beer. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
I just put up a new Doors poster on the wall.
You take the halberd to Roderick to have it repaired. You can have that done for a nominal fee. The blade is Roderick would be impressed by the craftsmanship here. I think is maybe takes a little bit longer repairing it, so you can kind of study it as well, because he's doesn't handle many masterwork items that were made by other craftsmen, so gets a chance to kind of inspect it and maybe learn some new techniques himself. But when he returns it to you finally, it is as you remember it. Does Carter have it returned to like the state exactly how, like, the same color wrapping or handle and like everything the same as it was before?
Carter doesn't have any intent of keeping any of this, so he wants it fully restored to be brought back with the body.
Okay. You spend some time doing a few things, having that done, and Roderick does return it to you with it being in exactly the same condition that it was before. A beautiful piece of craftsmanship, befitting Eckert's family name, which I sent you a message on Discord for it, because I don't think I ever had it, but I know your Discord is down. What Eckert's family name is?
I don't know if made one.
Yeah, I don't think we ever did one. So if you want to come up with one and give it to me at some point, that would be great. Because I was like, I don't have this in my notes. So yeah. But the other thing is, you spend you after exhuming Eckert's corpse, you cremate it, which is probably maybe a small, I mean, I know Carter probably wouldn't push for any sort of ceremony or anything, given Carter's condition, but I don't know if I imagine the others might push for something out behind the winery as you burn the remains of the corpse and collect the ashes into a vase that Carter stows within his personal chambers, to begin making arrangements to have it transported to their family. I want to leave it there that maybe again, finding transport to the Anderfells right now is a nigh impossible task, given the Darkspawn incursion there. Hosberg is the heat, or the heart of the battle right now. Antiva has fallen. The Darkspawn are there. There are skirmishes along the borders that are keeping to keep the Darkspawn at bay. Hosberg is the most like contested territory right now against the Darkspawn. So I imagine you are spending a lot of time reaching out and trying to find somebody who can transport this. I'm going to leave it there for now because I might have something for that. So that is Carter. Who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Okay. Ven, I know what you're doing.
Yes,
So
I
can.
I sort of told you.
Yeah. So Venehn, at some point during this, at some point during the next few months, you are, I imagine, Venehn, are you carrying on your normal duties for Lady Richelieu?
Yes.
Keeping up appearances despite your distrust?
Keeping up appearances.
Okay. She probably sends you on a couple of jobs as well, probably mostly some extortion, blackmail, that sort of thing. Keeps you, keeping you busy. And there is one of the days where you are returning to the Richelieu estate. I imagine you're spending most of your time at the winery now, and not sleeping at the estate very often.
Yeah.
You come into the estate and you come up to the estate to enter, and the steward for Lady Richelieu opens the door and tells you that the lady is not available. She is indisposed, and you will have to come back another time. And as they are in the middle of telling you this, you hear heavy footfalls from behind, and Amara comes up behind the steward, sort of moves them aside and says, you can allow Venehn to enter. We have some matters to discuss, despite Lady Richelieu's current location. You may go. And the steward is in a huff, and they leave. And Amara looks to you and says, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was looking for you anyway.
Well, do you want to let's speak, please?
Sure.
Motions you inside.
I think this is the first time you've ever invited me in anywhere.
I can close the door.
No, already in.
If you'd like. Okay. As you kind of sidestep into the door before she can close in. She doesn't turn to face you, she's just heavy sigh as she pushes the door closed.
Oh, I'm wrong. This is the second time.
Was that an innuendo?
Well, it wasn't so much of an innuendo as I'm pretty sure you grabbed me by the collar and yanked me into the room and locked the door behind us, but...
Oh, right.
You didn't forget.
I think I was pretty drunk, so...
It was like half a bottle of champagne.
Right. Well, please come in. No need to stand on formality, as the steward mentioned. Lady Richelieu is currently indisposed. She's visiting her sister.
Oh.
Is this Amara's voice? God, I feel like this isn't her voice. What was her voice? It's been so long since I did Amara. Was this it?
I think
Right?
so.
So a little
Right?
deeper, yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
British?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
Like
Right.
vaguely.
She was just
All
like
right.
vaguely deep and fancy, I think.
Right. So she escorts you inside. And yeah, I mean, the estate is in perfectly good condition, no issues. But everything's a little bit more casual because your boss isn't around. And she takes you back to the kitchens and pours you both a cup of wine, and slides one over to you. She says,
Thank you.
how are things?
Oh, you know. They come and go. I met the wyvern. Well,
Where did you meet a wyvern?
we sort of fought it, but then we had this magical collar that we put on it that calmed it down. But then I felt really bad, like, about influencing it like that, and so we took it north and set it free. His name is Toothless. If you ever see a wyvern with a piece of green cloth tied around his talons, that one's mine.
I don't know whether to believe you.
I'm 100% serious.
And that scares me.
It was
You-
really cool. I was really cool. I don't do that often.
See, that's the part I don't believe.
I rode a wyvern.
Well, I didn't see it, so.
I mean, I could recreate it if you like.
She laughs and takes a sip for a while, and she says, "We'll see."
Other than that, we're just, building the business, as it were. Going pretty well, actually.
Well, good.
How are you?
Oh, fine. Nothing much to speak of. I'm only here temporarily. My position, or my newly afforded charge with the Empress is still in progress, so that should be... I should be, I don't know, knighted or whatever it is within a few months.
Pretty good as far as promotions go.
It's a lot of interviews, which isn't really what I expected and not really particularly what I enjoy. But Lady Rishiru assures me that there's merely formalities, so...
I mean, I mean this generally and with no offense, but I doubt that the Empress's Guard, whatever they're called now, are recruited based on their interpersonal skills.
Which is why the whole thing seems pointless. I'd much rather them make me spar against one of them than having to sit there and answer questions about my family and my upbringing and my charges and positions and so on and so on and
You
so
know
on.
how
It's
important
really-
pedigree is to those people.
Yes. But it's fine. It'll be over soon enough, I suppose, and then... well, on to whatever's next.
Indeed.
But really, the biggest news of the week is, as I said, Lady Rishu is visiting her sister after some drama on that side of the family.
Ooh, is she in trouble again? What's she done this
No.
time?
No, she is besought with grief at the fate of her son. So,
Wait, which son?
Lambert.
What happened to Lambert?
Oh, nothing. His...
You can't say
He
she's
took-
besought with grief and then not tell me.
Well, do you know how the overdramatic they get? Why do you care?
I don't. I just enjoy gossip. And you said it was big news, so it's got to be something crazy. Because
Roll
nothing is big
deception.
news to you.
Roll deception.
I don't care. Who's Lambert even?
Roll deception.
Gotta fucking stag, man. I don't even.
I'm debating whether she's less mentally adept than you and whether you even can lie to her. But
it's a different kind of adept.
Uh-huh.
Well, 16?
She got a 17.
There's no way, yeah.
366. So actually, she's stunted on that.
Damn, what is she? Does she flirt with me?
Flirt.
Flirt!
Okay, here's her thought on this. Do I need to? I mean, come on.
I'm going to get bored eventually. What? I don't care?
She is going... okay, she got 6 stunt points. She is going to do Tower of Will. So she gets a +1 for
Did she
anything
kill
you
me?
might No, that's your successes give you a sense of your own brilliance and strength of character. For the rest of the current role-playing exchange, you gain a +1 bonus to any opposed tests where an opponent tries to put you at an emotional disadvantage, thus intimidating you, impressing you, bargaining with you, and so
Oh,
on.
I like Amara with confidence.
Yeah. And
I
second
love
one
that
is
for
gonna
her.
be second one's gonna be stunned silence. Or no, that's 3. She can't do that one.
Ha!
Second one is gonna be
Silence me, I dare you.
oof. I guess no, she's just gonna do Tower Will. I can't think of another one that really fits. So no, she looks at you, she's read you like dead to rights. She's like, you liar.
What?
Why do you
I've never lied to anyone.
You're blushing.
I don't do that.
You're blushing.
I don't do that. The tattoos, they destroyed the nerve endings in my face. It's impossible.
You're lying even more. You're blushing.
Why do you care?
I care because you're blushing.
I blush at you all the time. Why do you care?
This is different. This is you being caught off guard, and I don't get to see that very often, so I'm going to push this as far as I can.
Okay, I'll make you a deal.
All right.
I'll tell you. But you have to do me a favor.
No.
Yes.
No.
Well, then
You're
I
going
won't
to
tell
tell
you.
me. No, you're going to tell me.
Or
else,
what?
Or else we're not going to fuck.
Wow, that's just real blackmail.
Right? I know it's important to you.
You don't even know what favor I was going to ask.
What's the favor? I'll consider it.
The favor was... Okay, we're getting in some, like, pretty big scraps and fights lately, and, like, I'm really good with the bow, and I'm pretty good with the blade. Like, if I want to get better, you know, swords and knives or whatever, I have a friend for that. If I want to hone other skills, I have friends for that. But honestly, I can't take a hit. And you seemed like the person to ask about that. Is that stupid?
No. There is a certain... Contrary to popular belief, it's sword play is not all how you swing a sword, how good you are with your arm. Being able to take a hit is important. And
You
how
seem
to
like you can take
deflect
a
one.
lot of them. I thought maybe, you know.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It is.
Well, if the training involves me getting to hit you a lot, then sure.
See, is it
I'm
even
down.
really a favor for me?
No, it's more of a favor for me. So I'm getting a good end to this deal. Sure.
Okay, Lambert and I had a thing a while back.
You had a thing with Lady Richelieu's nephew.
This was probably before you even spoke to me, but yeah.
And when you say a thing, you loved him.
Ew. I don't do that.
You loved him.
We were together for a while, like, pretty seriously. It wasn't supposed to be anything. It was supposed to be, here's the hot nephew who just became a chevalier, and before he leaves to go wherever he's gonna go, you know, and then it went on. And then he left. And I haven't seen him since.
Lambert, who, from what I know, is the pinnacle of chivalry and is the shining example for all of this family. It had a tryst with the Help.
You're one to talk, first of all.
No, I'm delighted by this.
It was more than that.
You had a you.
I never meant for it to be more than that. But you know how he is.
Not personally, but I've heard.
It's really easy to get attached. I told myself I wasn't going to, and then I did. And then Lambert up and made captain.
Well, he's a marquis.
But he's a
Or
captain.
will be.
And captains have to go where their men are. Which are not here. So, it's been
No.
a while since I've seen him. Which is why I asked, because he stopped writing a while ago. And I'm 50-50 on whether or not his one brain cell has left him and he's forgotten me, or he's dead.
Well, I know, as far as I know, he's not dead. So that's positive, I suppose, in some way.
That's good.
You may not be seeing him for a while longer.
Well, no, he's captain, he's marquis, he's all over the damn place.
From what Lady Richelieu was, what I overheard, he's taken his garrison, petitioned his commanders to dispatch his garrison to help the wardens. And he has marched them up to Hossberg. As you can imagine, his mother is quite distraught at that. Is her darling son fighting Darkspawn.
That sounds exactly like something he would do.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Probably won't even fight on the front lines.
The marquis, they won't let him out of the tent. But from what I hear, Darkspawn don't really care about tents and battle lines and titles. Or who you left at home in Venehn.
True.
It's whatever, it's in the past, it's fine.
I promise I will tell you if I hear anything further.
50-50 on whether I even want to know.
She looks you in the eyes for a long second and she says, "You want to know." Listen, as somebody who had was in a very similar position to you and loved somebody and lost them and now has no ability to speak with them again, you want to know.
Look at us. Kindred spirits, and you finally admit it.
Don't rub it in.
I'm not.
I will say, I find this side of you very endearing.
That's like the second compliment you've ever given me. And
Well,
you
you only
laughed
get
at my
one.
joke earlier. Are you okay? Are you sick?
I suppose you're growing on me like a mold.
Or a fungus? You know, many of them, especially out where my people used to live, have healing properties.
Please, let's not discuss fungus right now. And she leans forward and
Why?
kisses you.
I guess I can wait.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
So do you want to spar, or do you want to spar?
I think she, as you break the kiss, she says, "No, take off your pants."
We're in the kitchen.
I
I
gave
want to
you
be
an
Mara
order.
when I grow up.
Aye. What are you now? Empress's point.
Shut up. Anything else?
Nothing I can say on stream.
No, we're skipping past that. And is there anything during the 6 months that you want to?
I mean, he does want to touch base with Amara about, like, you know,
I mean,
Which
you're
one?
touching
Hey!
base with them
pass
right now.
to no, the path to the promotion and like when that's gonna happen, and then like if she's given any more thought to, like, you know, killing our boss, like that kind of thing. I figured that'll come up.
I think
yeah,
a large. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would, and Venn just does a lot of training, a lot of bow training, a little bit of dagger training, and is really trying to, like, was really serious about, like, can you help me, because once they get to me, I'm like made of cotton candy.
Yeah, no, she does keep her word and helps train you, and you know, you spend a lot of time getting hit and being shown how to get hit.
That's the idea.
And teaches you some more effective combat strategies for avoiding damage.
And that's like 6 months they get to spend bonding over stuff.
Yeah. And Lady Rishidu is gone for a couple weeks visiting her sister, but eventually she does return. Amara, as far as her plot, I think a lot of that hinges on her receiving her promotion. It kind of tells you, like, once I receive my position, we'll speak on it then, because that I think her plan kind of hinges on having that authority as sort of to fall back on. So,
okay.
But you spent a lot of time training and getting better at that. I assume, do you have do you have a stat thing that you're tying that into, or just future plans?
For my new focus, I took, because it had to be one of our off ones, I took a focus in stamina.
Okay, yeah.
And so it just gave me that idea. I
Okay,
just thought it would be fun.
I like it.
If you want to give me more, I'll take more, but that's one of the things I took on level up, was the stamina focus.
Yeah, I think I'm just sticking to what you guys get from leveling up, because I don't want to unbalance the game by just throwing stuff at y'all.
It was just my fun in-game reasoning.
No, I like
to spend time with Amara and justify why I could take a focus in anything related to Constitution.
That's fair. Awesome. So that's Ven's few months. Might go and do one more.
I hang out with Carter at some point, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Garas or Yas, is there anything you want to be doing?
I think that I definitely want to do a scene with my papa. Check up on him.
Papa!
Okay. Back at his estate?
Yeah, at his estate, yeah.
Have you been helping? I can't remember, because you said that you were going to give him some money to fix up.
Yeah, I've been definitely sending him a portion of all of my cut of the jobs to him to help him fix up the estate, to help it, look less like a ancient relic, but actually look like a well place that's lived in and looks like, people can look at it with like, hey, that's a nice house.
Yeah. I'm totally cool with that. So you arrive coming in through the front entrance of the manor. Many of the tarps have been taking off of the furniture, and the place is clean. Some of the decorations have been returned.
Dad's been on his home base building quest.
Yeah, there's been some kind of, well, I think part of the money goes to having there's like a steward to the estate to keep it keep it up and running. Easier to do because, I mean, despite the size of it, it's only him living in it right now. So at least the main, is only having to really take care of like the main living area, the study, kitchens, that kind of stuff. It's much easier. And then I imagine probably also hiring a cook or something to take care of your dad. So not a heavy cost, but enough to at least make the place seem more presentable. And yeah, I think your father is I think you come in, the door is opened for you as you approach, and this new attendant for your father opens and says, would you say Master Garas? You don't have a last. You don't have a
I don't have a last name. Yeah.
Yeah. Master Garas, pleasure to see you again. I assume you're here to visit your father.
Oh, good afternoon, Quincy. Yes, I'm here to see my papa. Is he busy?
And as he says that, you hear a shout from the other room. It says, "And you call this a cup of tea? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Quincy, what are you doing? Nobody should be visiting me today. Get back here." And it just like gives a long sigh. Just, no, he's not busy.
Oh, he's in one of his moods as usual, which is every single day.
I was going to say I didn't notice a change.
Why don't I go and bring him the tea? You go handle something else.
Thank you, Master Garas. Closes the door and heads off to the kitchens as you find your father in his study. There's a mostly full cup of tea sitting next to him in his chair. He is reading a book as he sits with his cane resting against the side of his chair.
He comes in with like a cup of tea that's like done in the way that Garas has been doing it for ages, and he walks up and he tries to be sneaky this time. He tries to be sneaky and creep up on him.
All right, make a stealth check.
That is a That is a 15.
Okay, you beat him on that. So he, you get the drop on him. You come walking up quietly behind him as your father calls and says, Quincy.
Of course, Quincy cannot make the tea that you so specifically asked for, so I took it upon myself to make it for you, Papa. And he sets the teacup right next to him.
Garas, what are you doing here? Where's... Looks at the tea. What do you want?
Well, rude. Hello, Papa. I love you. Second, I want nothing today. I'm just here to see you, here to visit you.
All right, so you're here, you're visiting, and goodbye.
He sits down in a chair across from him.
I was just getting to the good part of my book.
I'm just here to make sure that if there's anything else you need, or because I noticed the house is looking amazing these days. You got the staff. Quincy is, he's very, talented in what he does. You should cut him some slack.
I'm just saying, I asked for the Earl Grey. I don't know what it is that they made here, but it is not that. And so, if you're going to hire somebody to cook and clean and do all this stuff for me, they might as well do a good job of it, right? Well, it's your money. I'm making sure that it's being used properly.
And you know what? I am so glad you're doing that. And he pulls out a bottle of the Red Jenny vintage and sets it down also next to him.
Much better.
Also, I'm not here to ask for anything. I am more of a... okay, yes, I'm here to ask for something. Have you been hearing anything about, that man, Valmont, lately?
Um, well, from all the socializing that I do, getting up, going to balls, and really cutting a rug, he like taps his staff on the ground a couple of times. He says, "No, I have not."
It's just this. He's just been quiet, it feels like. It just has me a bit on edge, I suppose. Last time we've heard stuff about him, felt like he was doing something nefarious, but I haven't heard anything about him, and eyes on the prize kind of thing, but I don't know, I feel like I should do something to him. I mean, he hurt our family so much, and I know we have our jobs and everything we do, but I want to take him down, Papa. Have you ever felt that way? Where it's just, you feel so drive to do one thing, but you don't want to mess up the things that you have.
Garas. Revenge is a young man's game. When I was your age, I found any and all reasons to get revenge on everyone who had wronged me, challenging them to duels and stealing their pants and all that sort of stuff. There is a part of me that does resent Valmont, obviously, for what he did to our family and myself as well as you. I did not want you to see me end up like this. I'd always imagined I'd still be out. I'd still be in my prime, even at this age. But, alas, things did not turn out that way, and I am left in this unfortunate position of hating a man that, even if I were to slit his throat in a darkened alley, it wouldn't change anything. So I let it be. But I understand, you're young and hot-blooded, and you're looking to make a name for yourself. So I will not stop you. I wouldn't have listened to me anyway when I was your age, so I can't imagine you'll listen to me now. But it's not worth going for revenge if you're going to end up in a worse place than where you started.
I suppose so. Honestly, I don't know what I would do if I saw him face to face right now. I mean, I am very quick to shoot off my mouth. You know this about me. And I am very even quicker to stab someone. And every single day, I think about it. What would I do if he was right in front of me at that moment? And it's I don't know what I would do. All I know is I would just probably see red or something and just, like you say, right then and there. But also I feel like if I did that, it would put everyone else in jeopardy somehow.
I will tell you something. I wasn't always the pinnacle of success that you see before you today.
Really? He was being sarcastic.
You're an asshole.
I learned it from watching you.
As you know, I began my career with nobody. Didn't have a name or title or anything to speak of. All I had was a slightly stronger arm than most and a quicker mind. And so I put those skills to use, and I began fighting, and then I started fighting for money. Bars, back rooms, stealing, obviously, when I needed to, and through a combination of the two, I eventually rose to the position that of importance, but I had my missteps along the way. There was a job that I took, set up through a contact of mine, and long story short, I completed the job, but the client reneged on payment. I was furious. I saw this as a personal attack against me, a slight against from a rich asshole that thought he could take advantage of somebody trying to make a living. For the fact that I could not go to the guard and report that I had not been paid to my fair share for stealing. So I was obsessed with revenge, of hunting down this noble and killing them. And eventually I found out who it was that the contract was through. I found the nobleman that had hired me. I followed him after he left a bar one night, and I challenged him to a duel right there on the streets, and I killed him. Only later did I find out that it was his son and not him that had actually paid for the contract was supposed to. Anyway. By that point, I was distraught. I had killed the man for no reason, other than my own quest for vengeance. So, what I will tell you, no one can tell you not to seek revenge. Your truth and your feelings are your own, and if that is the path that you wish to walk it. But take careful steps along the way. Because if you step wrong, someone innocent, or maybe even someone important to you, they may pay the price.
Thank you, Papa. I think that is what I needed to hear.
Roll dexterity for me.
Ooh. That is a 13.
Whack! He spins around and whacks you in the head with the book that he was reading.
What was that for?
You weren't on your toes. You should have stayed on guard.
You had a wonderful heart-to-heart talk with me. Of course I wasn't going to be on guard.
And that was your first mistake. Never learn.
Oh, well, I guess that means I'm not going to take you out drinking tonight, because that's also what I came by for. But since you hit me with a book, I guess I'll just leave.
Holds up the bottle of wine and says, You shouldn't have brought this then. And pops the cork, rips the cork off with his teeth and starts drinking it.
I hope the cat shreds up your nice new curtains.
Then I'll kill it and get a new one.
Do not kill Mr. Mittens!
If he slights me, I might seek revenge against him.
Like, Garas, picks up this humongous fat tabby. Look at this face, Papa. Why would you want to kill this face?
The cat is like,
Yes, Mr. Mittens, I won't let the mean man hurt you. And sets him down.
he hops up in the chair that you were just sitting in and curls up. Is there anything else for you?
No,
guys?
that's it. But I think over the 6 month is also Garas will purchase a bastard sword.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, he purchases a bastard sword over the 6 month process because he's been training more and more Lucia, like diverging a bit from light weapons to more heavier weapons.
Nice.
In their training process, and that's why I took the ability focus for heavy weapons.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, sword's a real asshole, but you figure out how to use it. I'm glad somebody appreciated that. Awesome. I know we just have Yaz left. Let's go and take our break. We'll come back, finish up with Yaz, and then I'll get you set up for your next job. So, thank you everyone for sticking with us, hanging out. We will be finishing our session here shortly, but in the meantime, get some water, stretch, whatever you need to do, get a snack, and we will be back here very soon. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, Internet. Thanks for joining us while we took our break. We're back and raring to go, though, so we're going to jump right back into our last downtime scene. Yaz, what you got for me?
What do you think?
Drama.
Gonna train with Wolf, of course.
Okay. What kind of training?
I think we're all sort of going with the theme of working on sort of what we just picked up. I think I might keep that the same. So I think I can incorporate this into some of her long-term stuff that she was doing throughout the 6 months. The long-term being she's looking for her father. Getting any whiff of where he could possibly be.
Okay.
And so I would assume maybe along the way using any contacts, like just straight up going out of town and spying, whatever it takes. I would assume she might run into the occasional, like, coded message of some kind. And, yeah, maybe she's kind of working on that.
Okay. So you want the scene to be with Wolf or with looking for your
with
dad?
Wolf.
Okay.
With Wolf. Naturally, we had to get Wolf back in here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming trying to find my dad is going to be a very long process, so.
Yeah. Trying to think.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I should have just warned
No,
you
no,
that
no.
there'd be some Wolf coming.
No. I was expecting Wolf. I'm trying to figure out. So if maybe I misunderstood. So Wolf is helping you with the looking for your dad, like as the training.
Wolf, I think, is helping me, or at least accompanying me while. I guess they could do both. Like they could probably come with me for sneaky missions.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure
And
because
then-
I think I missed the transition between that and your dad and what Wolf was training you in.
I wanted Wolf's help with because I'm picked up cryptography of like working with coded messages, which I guess as an assassin they might also have worked with in some capacity. So
Sure. So more of like book training and less of like physical training. Okay, I gotcha. I'm on the same page.
It's a classic study date.
Could
Could you help me read this?
Yeah, I think. Try to think of where would be a good place to set this. How about we haven't gotten any really much interaction at the university lately?
Okay.
And you're a student there, presumably.
I still have a dorm room, I guess. So yeah, just haven't really been staying there.
And I think maybe the university library is where Wolf recommends that you meet to go over some of this. Says that there's probably some books there that might help, but mostly that just the access to information there helps with some of the cryptography. Basically, it's like, I'll go over the basics with it, but it'll help if we have more books on hand. So yeah, you're at, maybe it's like the end of the day. I imagine, again, we've kind of skipped over it, but Yaz attending some lectures and spending her free time studying to at least maintain her cover. Yeah. Since you are now
full-time business owner, clandestine business runner. Yeah.
You sound like a classic
because you know she's keeping the books for the entire fucking winery too.
Yeah. So accounting, So you're waiting in the library for a bit, because you finished up some studying and Wolf is going to be there, so you figured, hey, I'll just stay here and wait for Wolf to arrive. And you're on the there's a balcony on the second floor of this massive library space, and I imagine there's an information desk at the center where some of the the librarians, the stewards, the archivists that work here sit at to help the public that comes in looking for I guess probably not so much access to the public. Imagine the university does have some guards and stuff to keep people from the public from just wandering in. Yeah. But other students from coming in. So you're looking down. You have a good view of there, and then where people would come in from the entrance to the library. And as you're waiting, you hear some light footsteps coming in from the marble floors down below, and you look down to see somebody entering, and you almost do not recognize them because Wolf is not wearing their armor, because wearing your armor at a library would be ridiculous and would not fit with the cover here. So you see Wolf comes in. You recognize them by their long blonde hair, which is braided across their shoulder and down their chest. They're wearing a loose-fitting top of this silken white material that is cinched at the arms, but has this kind of billowing kind of amorphous shape to it, and a skirt that comes down to about their knees but is slitted in the front and kind of trails behind them, and some linen baggy pants underneath it. It's a very strange dress, again, not something to be common or lay, but it is a fashion that is more common to the north, into winter, of these more loose-fitting garments, but it is not something that you've seen Wolf wear before, and it really throws you off because you've never seen Wolf in their street clothes, in their civvies. And they come walking in, very Wolf always walks in a very kind of graceful step, very quiet steps, but using more accentuated now that they're not wearing their armor. And the face on full display with the Dalish tattoos as well. They step in and almost immediately, scanning the place very quickly, notices you on the top balcony, sees you. Oh, you want to hide? You want to stealth?
Just to fuck with them.
We'll stealth. We'll contest this with Wolf's perception.
It's not bad. It's 544.
Oh my god.
So that would be. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. 9, 13 plus 7. That's 20.
Damn, jeez. Okay, we've only got 11 because I rolled a 2, 1, 3. So yeah. You quickly duck out of sight as Wolf is scanning the balcony and does not notice you. What do you do?
Oh, I'm waiting for them to come up here, and I'm gonna scare the shit out of them. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh,
Jump scare.
Oh, so you duck around a bookshelf for a bit, and you wait, keeping an eye on the table you were sitting at with the books still on it. It takes a few minutes because obviously Wolf probably walks around the first floor to see if they can find you, and then a few moments later, you can hear some light footfalls coming from down the aisle that these shelves intersect at, and you catch them as they're just coming into view.
I wanted to have taken like a ruler or a straight edge, and I want to like come up behind them and just poke the ruler into their back.
Okay.
Don't move.
They flinch for a second, and before you see, because there's only a moment before you speak, but in that instant, their hand darts to their hip, and as they stop, and as they say, "That's really not funny," you realize that they have drawn, like half unsheathed, a dagger from their belt that is like hidden, secreted in one of the in the back. And as they sheath it again, they turn around to look at you.
You better let me know where you were hiding any weapons.
I would have killed you.
Maybe. Guess we'll never know.
Is this your table?
Yes.
Wolf goes and sits.
She'll sit down too.
Very, very stoic, but you could definitely see that mild look of like irritation, that like feigned irritation that masks amusement on their face. And they sit across from you and they say, "Well, considering you've resorted to pranks, I'm assuming you've already cracked everything you need to know about cryptography?"
I don't care to admit when I need help. It happens so rarely. It just tastes bitter in my mouth.
Well, we'll keep it our secret then, or I at least won't make you say those words.
Thank you.
So, looks down to the books and like pulls them aside and like moves one and says, "Our next treaty on linguistics, dry but helpful. I see you have a book of puzzles too. Probably not going to help you unless you're looking to decrypt, unless you're working on sort of a party trick for your next gala."
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all are going to be mad about this one. Is it Sudoku?
I'm out!
That was good.
Boy.
I'm going to go ahead and put myself in the penalty box for that one.
that was good. That was good. Oh boy. Looks back and says, "When are we starting on this? Because this is more than just a quick lesson, I would think.
Can we say it doesn't really have to have anything involved in it either, but can we just even say narratively that she picked something up along some of her exploits looking for Dad and just pulls it out?
Like a cipher or something that you're trying to...
Yeah, like a piece of just like a missive or a letter or something that she managed to snatch.
Where do you think you would have gotten this from, and why do you think it would be important? Why do you think it would be from him?
I don't think it's actually from him.
Or related to him.
Here's my thinking. She's been going around trying her best to get some whiff of something. And I don't think it's been going well. But sort of going around outside of the city, spying on like post runners and things of that nature. I think she just ran into a missive that had a cipher to it, and
so maybe
has no idea who it's from, who it's for.
Okay.
But I think it just got into her brain of, well, shit.
Yeah.
If any of this correspondence is coded in any way, I'm kind of fucked here.
So what this really is kind of like this is a mystery box. Like, you don't know, like you have I'm fine. Like maybe you have you've made some contacts with Red Jenny. Maybe you have made some contacts with some other thieves and other brokers in the city. Maybe at some point you broke into a broker's hidey hole and we're searching around through his letters again, looking for something, because your dad isn't working with the not Talvishoth, that's the other thing, Ben Hassaroth. Yeah. Isn't working with the Ben Hassaroth anymore, and that he's in the city, so he's probably doing something in the city, and if he is doing something in the city, he is working through a broker or would be working through somebody like this. So you've been going through a couple to try to find any information you could on your father, and anything that might help you understand like what he is doing, where he is doing it, why he's here, and so you're just grasping at straws right now.
100%.
And so, yeah.
I think if anything, she's probably even just taking out her frustration on really not having any leads, on being like, well, I'm going to learn ciphers then. Fuck it.
Exactly. No, I think that's perfect. And especially since maybe you bumped into this one, you realize, oh shit, like these people encode their stuff. It's not going to be as easy as just like breaking in and reading their diary, or going through a ledger. So you have found this journal. And it is or you've stolen this journal, and it is encoded, and perfect. Now I know what we're dealing with. You hand that over, show that to Wolf?
Just pull it out of the bag, plop it down the table.
Let me see. All right. Interesting. All right. It doesn't appear to be a keyword cipher, so that's good. So if it was, then it's going to be more difficult to break. You would have to have the text that would translate, essentially, the piece. When I assume this is stolen.
Why ever would you accuse me of such a thing?
So it is. When you steal something like this, it's best to know your target and maybe make note of any books they keep on hand to help with deciphering it. Usually, if somebody is taking the time to encode a cipher, they will be keeping nearby the method of translating.
She's just like, without breaking eye contact, just has like a sheet, like a sheaf of papers, just taking notes as if she's at a lecture. Yeah.
They look down and smile and say, "Hey, you're taking notes?"
Yes. Is that a problem?
No, but notes are create physical evidence that other people can then take from you. So,
Except when I take them home at night, read them, study them to memory, and burn them in the fire.
all right. So you've got good habits. That's good to know. Reads smiles as they look over it, and
Smash cut to her just like reading her notes every night and then just burning them in the fireplace.
We are spending a lot of money on parchment, I feel like.
It's a process, all right?
and Wolf says, all right, so unfortunately, we'll have to do this the long way. Since this is a text, or this is, we don't have the code for the cipher, the key for the cipher, we'll have to make one ourselves. And starts going through, pointing out to you, basically looking for common letters, finding the spacing, pointing out that where vowels are more likely to be and where the letters, similar letters pop up, how to find those, basic cryptography. So you do that for a while. I'm gonna have you roll. Well, I guess cryptography. I mean, you picked up the skill, right? Yeah. You want to roll with that?
Alrighty.
We'll call that as part of your training. Here's you picking up the focus.
19.
19. Okay, so the two of you sit there for a long time, and I will probably explain this a couple times. Like, this is a lengthy process, but you'll learn a lot through doing it. And has you mostly, like, I think scoots their chair around next to you so you can read it at the same time. Kind of cute, side to side. And has you kind of walks you through the process. But I think Wolf's style of like tutoring is
All right, figure it out.
yeah, it's kind of like wants you to learn and ask for you to ask the right questions and figure out what the right questions are to ask. And so there's sometimes where like you ask Wolf something and Wolf just looks at you and just shakes their head no, and doesn't really give you anything more than that. And then the point you ask like the right question and you figure out what it is that you need to be looking for, at that point they maybe explain a little bit more, but mostly kind of wants you to learn it for yourself and kind of just nudges you in the right direction.
Just the biggest look of consternation on her face the entire time. I don't think Yaz is used to not being good at something involving study or research.
Yeah.
And this bothers her.
Yeah. And it's a new skill, but Yaz is quick to pick things up. And you're doing this for several hours here. There are people that come into the library, and a couple people like come by your table, and you have to like kind of maybe hide what you're doing a little bit, or maybe make it seem more academic.
We also just have like a big fucking map that like we just like pull over, like, oh yes, and the geography and CP, yeah, like
yeah. So people come by, like people will walk by interspace, like few and far between. Some of them, like at one point an attendant from the library is come by, like put away books and comes near your aisle to search for the right spot to put it away, but otherwise you're mostly left in peace. And after a couple hours, like the sun is setting outside, the large windows that give a lot of like natural light to this library go out, and they begin replacing them with the glowstones, putting those in their sconces to provide more light for you. But you reach a point where it's like so late that you're probably the only people in this library, other than the archivists, and you finally crack the cipher, or you think that you've gotten the right key for it. So you begin to write out to try to decrypt it, which is a much easier process once you've deciphered the key. As you finally finish this first page, you lean back in your chair and begin to sort of like read it over. And as you read it over, there's this steady like dropping in your stomach of disappointment as you're looking over it and you're realizing like it's a lot of transactional stuff. The broker, as far as like selling some more like illicit drugs and other contraband, things like that. It's pretty dry
Boring.
stuff and not necessarily anything that'd be super helpful to you right now. And as you lean back and Wolf looks it over and says, well, I suppose you could do the rest of the pages, but I don't get the impression this is exactly what you're looking for.
Just shoves the thing across the table, stands up, and just, like, kind of walks into an aisle, rubs her eyes a little bit. Please tell me that wasn't a complete and utter waste of time.
I'm not a very good liar. I'm joking. No. Wolf stands up from the table and moves over to you, kind of leaning against the bookshelf next to you and facing your direction, and says, not a waste. The skills are important, even if the information you got from them isn't. And plus, you could probably sell that to somebody and make a decent amount of coin.
I suppose.
What were you hoping to find? Unknown, please find me here. Tall, broody Kunari spotted a corner of the Sun District.
I don't know. Something. Description. Strange tidbit about an interaction. Even the half mention of a name would be something.
Well, it comes with time, and I've been in this game for a long time, and I've had many marks that were difficult to track down. And I typically found in those situations that the moment that I was least focused on looking for them is when they turned up.
Oh, fuck, I'm never gonna find him then, am I?
Maybe you just need a distraction. Something to draw your gaze elsewhere.
Work hasn't exactly done that.
Work isn't a distraction.
Look over at them questioningly.
They're just leaning, arms crossed, back against the bookshelf that is to your left, and just have a very sly smile on their face.
What, pray tell, would you suggest as a distraction?
I don't know. Put your newfound skills to use and decipher it for yourself.
She'll lean down. Just get like half an inch away from their face. Am I getting any warmer?
They smile, looking up at you, and say, scorching hot.
She'll kiss him. Yeah.
and you kiss. And in the dark and quiet of the library, maybe hang on the kiss for a bit. And as you break, you can see that the wolf is looking up at you, just kind of like, again, that sly smile. They have, you're one of the only people that has seen their face now. I don't think anybody else in the group has seen Wolf's face yet, let alone them just like in their normal attire. And there's something like very vulnerable about them when they are when they're not in their full armor, not masked, a little bit more open, and you can see that like they're maybe actually I want you to do perception empathy.
Okay. I have that now. Oh, it is real good. 6, 5, 4. 11, 15. 22!
Wolf talks much more when they do not have their mask on. They are much kind of flirtier, seem much more confident and kind of cool, I guess, for lack of a better term. And what you see for a moment is just a hint that maybe that is another mask too. As there is a moment of something else in their eyes that just seems to glimpse beyond that veil. But before you can necessarily react or follow up on that, something else catches your eye. And you turn and you realize sticking out from between two books in the shelf is a folded piece of parchment. About 15 feet down down this aisle from you. And on it, in the script of the Coon, is the letter Y.
I think she straightens up briefly. Then leans down, gives him like a quick hard kiss and says, "Hold that thought." And then runs over to get the paper.
What's going anywhere? You go down the aisle, you snatch it. Do you open it?
Yeah.
You open the parchment, and in it is written in Kunari, very neatly, and in a handwriting that is probably familiar to you. That says, "I know you're looking. You can stop. I'll find you when the time is right."
She like just reads it a couple more times. Flips it on the back to make sure there's not more on the back that she missed.
Nope. Nothing else. Everything all right?
The universe has quite a sense of humor.
I find I don't like the universe's sense of humor very much.
All right. Just folds it neatly, puts it in a pocket.
I'm going to give you one more thing. This might be overstating it, but you have been in this library for a bit, and you've been up and down most of the aisles in this place looking for books. This paper was not here earlier.
I think that a thought occurs to her after a few seconds. Grabs Wolf and like darts into a shadow.
What are we doing?
He was here. He might still be here.
If he was, I assume Wolf has seen the note at this point. If he was here and left that note, I'm sure that he's nowhere nearby at this point if he's any good at what he does. Though he must be very good if I didn't notice him.
He did teach me everything I know.
Everything?
I guess, like, leaning up against in the shadows. I suppose not everything.
Then maybe I need to learn a few more tricks.
All right, they're getting pulled further into the stacks. We're doing like full on like college makeout in
Yeah,
the in
in the
the book
library.
stacks.
Perfect. At that point, we can fade away. I needed to at least get you the
Hold on.
letter first.
Good window.
Librarian pushing a cart of books passes the aisle, almost tells them to stop, and then just smiles and keeps going.
And that's our next recruit right there, that librarian.
Yep, that is
Yep.
right there. Because
Who's
she knows to
also
keep
your
their
dad.
mouth shut.
Yeah, and then they take a mask off, and it was my dad.
Oh boy. All right. I want to introduce y'all to your next job before we have to end tonight.
Val had such a fun time before the stream being like, all right, we're going to do like a quick couple of scenes,
know.
one per person, and then that's it.
And that's how I kept this to one episode at least.
That's true.
Because otherwise we would have done 2 or 3, which is what happened last time.
You right.
All right. It is near the end of those 6 months. Again, you are in the dead of winter currently. Maybe a bit past the new year, but it is cold. It is pretty desolate out in the fields of the hillsides of Valrayo. But beautiful in one way. Depends on how you feel about winter and snow and all that good stuff. One day, your newest recruit, or at least your newest named recruit, Jesus, what was their name again?
The librarian? No.
Nope. Allison comes back in out of the cold through the front entry. Maybe some of you are sitting around in this main entry of the winery in this kind of like common area here, reading or drinking or whatever you do during your time off. Allison comes in wearing a big bundled coat as they latch the door, and brushes off some snow drift from their black kind of fur lined coat, and sets their instrument to the side, taking off their coat with a flourish and hanging it on a rack to the side. Comes walking into all of you and says, "Well, I can see that you all are busy. I do not wish to bother you unless you are looking for work."
Garas currently has a black eye. I mean, we could be looking for work.
Are you doing all right, Garas? You look like you've lost a fight.
Smash cut to Garas throwing a snowball at Lucia. You could say that.
Well, I have a new lead on a contract if you are available.
And it also has a black eye.
Smash cut to getting
To Amara just really
Amara.
elbowing him right in the face.
punching in the face. Who else has a black eye?
Yasmera has 2. No, I'm kidding.
Damn, Wolf!
Who said it was Wolf? She ran into a pole while reading a book while walking.
Amara covers the hickey. Or not Amara, Yasmera. That's what I'm about to say.
Amara can too.
Amara can too. Alonson says, well, if you are available, I have received a rather cryptic request for all of you to meet with a potential new client tonight at midnight.
Can't get any more cliche than that.
How clandestine.
Well, I would say very, because they did not give me their name. However, I was promised that it would be a very sizable fortune waiting for you at the end of this one.
Well, we do love sizable fortunes.
It was arranged through a through a contact, so no physical description on them.
Do you trust this? Because we were literally in prison like 6 months ago.
I trust it. This contact of mine I have worked with for some time, and they would not come to me unless the job was legitimate. I get the impression that it is someone that they have worked with before, so...
Okay. Let's see this message.
I just told you, that is the message.
Oh.
Tonight at midnight in the Fountain Square.
I think you still have some snow in your ear.
Thank you.
Well, if they're not sharing who they are, do we need to show up in full force? Maybe a 2 and 2? 2 go in to meet, 2 case the place?
I'll handle the meeting. Anyone to come with?
Always.
I will leave the logistics up to you. Just know that they asked for the friends of Jenny directly, so...
That's good.
That is
Potentially.
really good.
Name recognition, it's very important.
I mean, after the bee job, I think our reputation went skyrocketing after that.
I actually have some ideas about the bees.
Like what?
Mead?
Or honey wine, yes.
I was thinking sexy.
Oh yeah, that'd be so good.
I know
just
someone. We'll talk
Have
about it.
bees.
I mean, not wrong to have bees.
Pollinate, everything else is...
Uh,
Just walks away to prepare to
Definitely for that and not as a weapon, yes.
We're making it happen!
You were thinking of throwing bees at people.
I was
Alonson
thinking
is
of
already-
throwing jars of bees at people. Yes.
Yeah, that was thinking the same thing.
Alonson has already spun on their heel, their long black hair trailing behind them as they walk picturesque out of the room.
Do they know they're in a different show than us?
They are just so cool.
So
How did we get someone
I
so
don't think
cool
I could get
like
my
them?
hair that long if I tried.
I know it's they just.
I'm
they just
imagining
carry
Alucard with
themselves.
black hair, essentially.
Yes, yes,
Yes, yes.
So, let's cut forward because I want to get to this. I want this meeting to take place, so that we can get to that. So, unless there's anything just insanely vital you need to do beforehand, I know. So Garas and Venn are going to be there for the are going to be the ones.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So Garas and Venn are going to be the ones handling the conversation during the meeting, and Yaz and Carter are going to be kind of on standby. They're going to be casing,
keeping an eye. I don't trust it. Don't show me your face. I ain't showing you mine.
Okay, so you find a vantage point in an alleyway nearby the Fountain Square. It is late at midnight. The moon is up ahead. There's minimal clouds. There's a light dusting of snow from a flurry earlier in the day across the marble streets, or across the cobblestone streets. I'm gonna actually change your music just a little bit more. A little bit more appropriate. There are lanterns burning on the corners around the Fountain Square that are giving off a little bit of light, but not as much as the moon up above. The square is mostly empty at this time of night, most of it being too cold and too late for most of the denizens of Valroyo to be out and about. Yaz and Carter, you arrive a bit ahead of time to this alleyway to keep an eye out, and other than a few stray cats and a passerby or two, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary in the time leading up to the appointed hour. The others, Venn and Garas, bundled in winter clothing, arrive at the fountains a little bit later, and you have a clear view, Yaz and Carter, on the two of them as they are standing at the fountains. I'm gonna have Yaz and Carter make perception seeing checks.
I did real
17.
good. Yeah. I got an 18 with 6 stunts.
Damn.
Dang.
Okay. You can spend those stunt point. It's gonna be an exploration roll. So what do you spend those stunt
Flirt.
points on?
No.
Can't flirt.
Oh, that's right.
Not an option.
Damn it. I flirt with the
And what did
book.
you get, Yaz?
Flirt with the
17.
darkness.
17, no stunts. That was actually not a great roll, but I have a +7.
I'm gonna do the upper hand. No, I'm sorry. No, wrong one. The object of your attention. So I'll get a plus roll on any other further tests for this scene to examine and perceive.
Okay.
Stuff, I guess. And maybe advantageous position.
Okay.
Maybe there's like I find a spot where I can climb up to a second floor balcony or something, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah, I think it says more than 2 yards away from the place that would normally lead to your discovery, but I'm willing to flex on that a bit for this situation. Yeah,
I just put them on my shoulders.
maybe you maybe you are able to duck and maybe Yaz able to boost you up to a balcony that you can get a better view at. And I think because of this, Garas and Venn, you're waiting for a bit, the fountain burbling behind you, and it's cold, and you are maybe a little miffed about having to wait, but a few minutes pass, and Carter, you're the first one to see, and Yaz shortly after, the approach of a group of darkened figures coming from down the street in your direction. Venn and Garas, are you like cowled? Are you like covering your faces and stuff too?
Yeah.
The entourage that seems to be approaching from down the way, Carter, based on your advantageous positioning, you realize that they sort of break off a little bit. Like a few are coming forward, but some are waiting behind for this approach. But you definitely have the impression that whoever is coming for this meeting has some backup, and they're keeping their distance kind of similarly to you. So
I'll whisper that down to Yasmera. They are splitting their forces, much as we are.
Somewhat smart, then. That's potentially good.
And you see three figures walk into this courtyard. One at the front and two flanking on the sides. All of them are wearing hooded cloaks with they're currently obscuring their faces in the evening light. Two of them, the two on either side, you catch the telltale sign, like the clinking, like they probably have some armor on, and likely some weapons under their cloaks. But the one in front who's approaching you is distinct from the others as they approach you with an uneven gait, and you see a cane clicking on the cobblestones as they walk in your direction. And as they reach you, this person speaks out, the other two staying a little bit behind, but not much. They actually kind of flank off to either side of you, Venehn and Garas, and says, and this figure in the front with the cane rests with their hands both on it for a moment, maintaining an appropriate distance from the two of you, and says, "Am I to believe that you are the friends of Red Jenny?"
Do I recognize this voice?
You do, especially as they lower their cloak, the hood of their cloak, and you see a silver mask covering the face of Duke Valmont, or Marquis Valmont.
Hoping it gets lost in all of the, like, winter cloaks and everything, Venehn just sort of grabs, like, Garrus's wrist, like...
When Venehn grabs Garrus's wrist,
okay? Give me a sign.
It's like when you touch a cat that's on their haunches, you instantly feel like his wrist like jump a bit, and you're not certain if it's out of like he was surprised, but almost as if was caught off guard because of how maybe how furious he is right now, or just seeing red right now.
Yep, that's the answer he needed. Oh, two of many friends, but yes, I believe we are who you're looking for.
Excellent. I would hope you have more than just the two of you for the job that I am going to propose.
And that is?
Right. Straight to business then. I appreciate that. It's cold and I don't wish to stay out here longer than I need. I'm willing to pay you a sizable sum in silver, in the amount of 6,000 silver pieces, for the completion of this contract. Half up front, half on completion. This is personal in nature, so I feel it necessary to divulge my identity for the sake of this. However, anonymity, to an extent, is necessary.
Venehn is gonna like look back at Garrus like just a little bit, because I'm considering just saying this man's name to his face.
I'm gonna make a RJ good boy roll.
And Garrus's reaction is gonna...
Garas takes in a deep breath and he sighs a bit. Then you feel his muscles relax. And He doesn't remove the hood, but he then finally speaks up. Well, who are we to, question your reasons for doing this? Is just a job, right? We don't
Yes.
ask for who it is. As long as we get paid in the end, that's all that matters.
Right. Well, as I said, my identity is sort of important to this contract. So,
Well then, my lord, in the interest of keeping you warm, go on.
right. Well, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Marquis Valmont. I own some businesses here in the city, and I am in need of assistance in transport of some supplies that are outside of my normal business dealings at a special request from my cousin. My cousin is a prominent officer in the Orlesian military and is currently stationed in Hossberg. You may know his name, Lambert Valmont. How does Venehn react to this?
Stone cold.
He's a captain.
And by stone cold, I mean just as pleasant as he always was.
My cousin is a captain and has taken his garrison to Hossberg for assistance with the siege against the wardens there at their fortress. I received a correspondence, which I'm willing to provide within a few days hence, which the details have outlined a development in Hossberg. It appears that the wardens have discovered the entrance to the deep roads that the Darkspawn are using to enter the Anderfels and lay siege. My cousin has written for my assistance in this endeavor, and I wish to provide for the sake of our family and the war effort.
So if you are delivering these supplies for such a noble cause, why are you meeting us at midnight by a fountain?
Unfortunately, the contents of this shipment, well, the plan that has been laid out by the Grey Wardens, Garahel, in specifically, calls for the use of rather drastic measures, I might say, against the Darkspawn to close off this entrance. As such, they have requested a shipment of skyburners. I wouldn't expect you to know what those are. They are
Can I hear? Do I know what they are from military lore?
Would you be able to hear from where you're at?
Ah.
He's about to explain it anyway.
I mean, we're gonna tell you about it. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. He says it is a modified lyrium explosive used for mining in Orzammar. They are not typically traded to surface dwellers. As such, I have arranged for purchase from them from the Carta. That alone would not be enough for me to require your services, but the Carta will only escort the contents so far, merely to the outskirts of Val Royeaux. I need someone to transport these skyburners to Hossberg, and as such, it will require transport through Tevinter.
If I may ask, outside of family connections, How does this benefit you?
I don't believe that's any of your business.
Well, I'm making it my business.
Well, the Marquis will be a war hero, among other things.
Of course, that may be a side benefit to this venture. That being said, any other benefits that may fall upon me are not within your purview, and if that is a requirement to this dealing, then I will take my business elsewhere.
Pardon my compatriot. They're just a bit nosy, is all.
I find that to be a poor trait in your profession.
Well, then you will have a hard time hiring anyone else in our profession. 6,000 half up front to escort your explosive cargo to the Grey
And to
Warden
do
front.
so, avoiding Imperial detection through Tevinter. I've already arranged for a ship out of... Oh my god, I forgot the name of this place. Minrathus. To take you to Hospec. The journey will be long, of course, and probably require a few months' travel. There is a second catch to all of this that you may have already deduced, but the Darkspawn seem to go into some sort of hibernation during the winter. They are less active, their force is less aggressive during the winter months, giving us the perfect window to transport these explosives to the siege front. That time window is limited. So by taking on this job, if you are not able to deliver the cargo before spring, I am afraid that you will have a very difficult time.
How soon will your boat be ready?
The boat should be ready at whatever date. I don't have a calendar for this game.
How many days from now?
Several weeks. Several weeks from now. Arrive in Minrathus, and the captain is already aware of the nature of our visit and the cargo that is required. I'm hoping you will arrive in Minrathus before the ship does, and be able to depart immediately upon its arrival.
And how will you confirm that the shipment has made it where it's supposed to go?
Well, I am requiring on my brother to inform me of the Warden's success in ending the siege. Of course, and takes like a slight step forward and says, should you take this cargo and attempt to sell it, fence it to another buyer, and make some more coin for yourself, I can promise you that will not end well for you.
Oh, we would never do anything to harm you and your business, Mr. Valmont.
We also have a vested interest in making sure the Darkspawn stay where they are and then die. If I may be blunt. But
I believe we all share that interest.
you are asking for several months of our business devoted to you and only to you.
We are in high demand.
What is your...
7,000.
8,005 up front.
10,005 up front.
Okay, the two of you cannot just sit there and keep going. He says, all right, this is...
I
not
just had a
how
number I
I'm
was gonna say. Wally just got to it first.
Is this how you do business?
Only when people of...
15,000!
We can get more expensive if you like. 8,000. 5 up front.
Make
3 more
a
completion.
I'll
make a manipulation check, Venehn. Venehn led this one, so I'm
Yeah.
going to have Venehn do it. Or persuasion.
$18. It's about as good as I could do.
I can agree to the 8,000. I have only... You'll receive your payment a day's hence. The shipment will arrive here by the end of the week.
We'll be ready when it does.
Is there anything else?
Don't worry, Mr. Valmont.
Lord.
I know what
Valmont.
I said. Mr. Valmont. The job will be completed and the shipment will arrive safely at its destination.
Your cousin? Yes. Is where we are
Yes.
coming.
He is aware.
Should we expect him to meet us or agents of his? Soldiers, I suppose.
I believe he and the Wardens are aware of this plan. They will meet you upon your arrival to receive the shipment.
Well, if you hear from Captain Marquis Belmont, tell him we look forward to doing business.
If that is all. And he turns on his heel and walks away.
When Valmont and his entire entourage is gone, Garas kicks the side of the fountain really hard.
Venehn
and does
pulls
a blow.
Garas into an alley.
He,
As
like-
soon as the kick goes off.
We'll say go back to the alley with Yasmera and Carter.
Get your shit together.
Fuck was that?
I
Fucking
believe
Valmont.
that was Marquis Valmont.
Yeah, y'all were close enough to at least see who it was they were talking to.
Oh, okay, never mind. I
Because he took off his cowl.
Garas, I get
so-
it. You can bitch and moan and rage once we get home. But if you want an in to get this guy, this is it.
You're right. You're right.
I think that expression is mainly from his toe, which he just broke,
Yeah, he pretty much pulled a Vigo
kicking a
Mortensen right there.
fountain.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You also see that his lip is bloodied, as if he was biting down on his lip the entire time.
You're too close to this.
I'll be fine.
Will you? Is that fine? When we show
I
up and
s-
meet this man's cousin, are you just going to stab him right there on the dock?
Did his backup people leave?
Yeah, they all left.
Valmont's- Okay. Then, as soon as they leave, I think Carter will slide down from his perch, and he'll say, "I believe he will be fine because he will have us with him."
Oh, I forgot to mention, he did give you the letter he received from Lambert.
Doesn't matter how many of us are with him if he can't keep his mouth shut.
I will keep my mouth shut then.
Keep your mouth shut or I'll shut it for you. Not in a fun way, like usual.
I will be fine. This is just another job. I won't. I have nothing against his family, just that man.
You're about to have 8,000 of that man's fucking silver.
That's the only thing keeping me not wanting to stab this man in the middle of the street.
What it is, Garas, is a good start. You know, we can do with 8,000 fucking silver to get Valmont?
Not to mention a direct connection to him. If we do a wonderful job, he'll want to use us again.
Or maybe his cousin will be amenable.
You're right. Okay. Focus on the job. Don't think about that bastard.
It's just a job.
It's just a job.
No connections. No trouble. 8,000 silver.
8,000 silver.
And a direct line.
Buy a lot of grapes.
into
That is a
Valmont's
lot
pocket.
of grapes. Takes his hand, he slaps the sides of his face.
I also slapped the sides of his face.
Yasmera just fucking slaps him.
What? Why did you smack me?
You were smacking yourself.
It was more of a thing to snap myself out of my rage.
Slaps the other cheek.
Well, and see, now you're just confused. It works for
very
me.
confused. I am very confused right now. Why is everyone hitting me?
And now that
Those
Venehn has
there.
got all of the heat completely off of himself.
No connections.
He flicks
connection.
Venon's forehead.
Oh.
That was for smacking my cheeks. Then pulls him into a hug.
Duh.
Just a job.
Just a job.
I believe I understand. And he slaps Garas.
Why are we still doing this beat?
Hey, I have a question, Carter.
I'm trying to decide if between all of the slapping, Garas can tell that Venehn is just lying through his
I was
fucking
about
front teeth.
I was
I
about
was-
to ask a question, because Garas doesn't really have a reason to even think about Venn having any connection to this right now, because that would be.
No, I just thought I was
extremely-
looking him right
that
in
would
the
be
face, but
really
it's me.
coincidental and highly improbable. But Carter, I was going to ask, you have your emotion reading thing. Is that something that's always on, or is that something that's like?
No,
you
it's
just have to-
something that he has to choose to do, and I decided a while back. Carter decided that it's too intrusive to use against anyone that he really cares about. So, unless it's like a life or death emergency sort of thing, but he's not going to use it against any of the party or the ancillaries.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to decide if anybody can tell that Venn is just like grinding his
Yeah, I guess
teeth,
how
like,
weird
stop
is
fucking
Venn-
looking at me.
Yeah, how weird is Venn acting right now?
It's honestly, I mean, it's kind of what he does. Like, I think there was that moment of, just a moment of like, huh! And then we
Well,
we were too
we
far away.
recompose and we
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something we can role play out next time. Because we should probably call our
I'm a
session
liar.
because we're
I'm
already
a liar.
I'm a
over.
guitar.
um so y'all have your new job. You asked me one of your wishes last time was to have to work with Valmont, so I am providing to make Valmont connected to this. And I want to say too, it would have been, I'll put us back to happier music. I was not really sure what was going to happen if Garas had decided to attack Valmont at that situation instead of taking the job, and this whole thing went up in flames, because I would have basically had to change the entire continuity of Dragon Age at that point, because this Skyburner thing is incredibly pivotal to the actual history of this universe.
Look, talk about perfect timing of Garas having a conversation with his dad, am I
Yeah,
right?
well, I thought that was perfect because based on what I had planned today. That's not the song I meant to put on. Jeez, that's the. We're gonna go back to this. So yeah, that was awesome and all worked out. And also, Ben gets a hand on the ball here. So,
Sorry, I spilled some water.
Oh, no.
it's all
Oh
good.
no.
So yeah, y'all will be doing your next job. I'll give a little sneak preview. It's going to be this escort mission for your next assignment. The trip is going to be broken up into 6 legs of travel, which will have some events that are going on during that time. And there will be a side mechanic that'll be going on that we can go on to it off stream to determine whether you are gonna make it on time.
Are you
Because
telling
if
me I have
don't-
6 legs of a journey to decide how to talk to my ex-boyfriend who ghosted me because of a war?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much. That's too many times.
And yeah, the
I'm gonna write a whole soliloquy.
the like I said, each of the journey will have some each leg of the journey has some checks involved that if y'all do not do well enough on, you will be delayed. You will not arrive before winter ends, before spring comes, and you may have some other trouble escorting some explosives through a war front. So
Can we talk about how fucking Valmont has made a really, really bad choice being like, hey, you people I don't know anything about, you're on a fucking time crunch, so save the whole war effort, I guess. Bye. Here's $8,000. Have fun. And a boat. What
Yep.
a dumbass.
I mean, y'all have been doing this for about 6 months now, and y'all are pretty well known in the city at this point. So,
I still think
yeah.
Valmont's kind of a dumbass. This
I
is
mean,
not how I
Valmont's
would
kind
do
of a
it.
dingle
It's
to
not how
begin
I would
with.
do it, I'm just saying.
Maybe not, but this is the only way I could get y'all involved. If I gave it to somebody else, that would have been super boring for me to.
Oh, I didn't
narrate.
say it was bad for the story. I think it's great for the story. Characters who are stupid and entrust things to people they shouldn't entrust them to
Is
are
basically
A
the
plus
cornerstone of role-playing
storytelling.
games. It's
Yeah.
it's the cornerstone of role-playing games, because usually role-playing games, the party that's getting all the missions are not the people that should be doing this job.
I mean, it's the
Yeah, pretty
cornerstone
much.
of the
It's
whole
usually you're all a
fucking
bunch of
like
idiots.
trilogy of fantasy books I just read. Like, it's really just about telling people, "Hey, I don't trust you, but I guess we're here and you have to do this thing now."
Exactly. So anyway, we can talk more
We're
about
gonna
off stream, but
fuck
this
it
is going to
up.
be our next little mission
No, we're
here.
not.
So
We're gonna kill it.
let's quickly
Yeah,
go around.
the war effort.
We're gonna kill the war.
We're over time. I'm gonna do stars
Start.
and wishes though. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go.
My star goes to Yasmera and Wolf making out in the stacks. To expound upon that, watching that relationship blossom has been really fun, and I said it in chat, but I'll say it out loud so everyone can hear me. That's just AU Venehn that you're making out with. That's just if Venehn decided that tragedy was gonna make him broody instead of obnoxious. So I hope Yasmera thinks about that when she goes to sleep at night.
Not one bit.
Venehn does. But no, watching that relationship sort of come to fruition and continue to develop is really fun, and I like it. I like watching Yas be happy about something for once in her goddamn life. Even if we're not there to witness it, eventually we will be. So
She's never gonna tell any of you about this ever.
Oh, they're gonna find it. They're gonna
bet I
read
can
her
get
list.
Wolf to tell
Yeah,
me.
they're gonna read it on her one day. It's gonna be fantastic
mhm.
because they already know her tells. So
My wish is to find out in some extremely convoluted way that Yasmera and Wolf are dating.
Okay.
My other wish is for a long time down the road is, oh man, so obviously I want everybody to find out like that Lambert and Venn have a connection. But I don't want it to be like right away step out on the docks like, wait, I know you. Like, I want something to go wrong. It's a very specific wish. If it doesn't happen, I get it. But I want something to go wrong, and I want him to be in danger, and I want Finn to be like, God fucking damn it. And then to, like, save this, like, noble Captain Chevalier. And then have to explain himself later. I feel like
So
have
why
to
am I
explain himself
here?
to his
Well,
friends why he would put himself in danger for some, like, idiot in armor that ostensibly they don't know.
That was so noble, Venehn. What the
So
fuck?
unlike
Amara's
you,
the
Venehn.
only one who knows about that.
it's so unlike you, Venehn. to
Like,
do
Amara
something so
knows who he
noble.
is. Now I have to think about whether Venehn ever made the fucking Valmont connection.
No, I think that was a surprise. Well, I think you knew that his last name was Valmont, but you did not know that he was Marquis Valmont's cousin.
I mean, there are a lot of Valmonts.
Yeah, Valmont's a fairly common name.
This is
But
like a cousin, though. That's
this family,
that's close in this universe. Like, that's
Yeah.
real close.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know if anyone knows this too. Lambert Valmont is like a huge historical figure in Dragon
It's a
Age.
big deal.
He's a
Um,
big deal.
Yeah.
Ben fucked him.
Because
My dumbass as a player didn't put it together when we talked
Empress
about it earlier.
Celine Valmont is like his great great granddaughter or something like that. Like
He's
the
like in
one
the
that-
Imperial line. Like,
Yeah.
Dang.
Eventually they take over the throne.
But yeah, I think it would be really funny if like they got into a like some kind of dangerous situation. Van was like, "Fuck it," does something and saves him, and then is like, "No, I've never seen this man. I've never seen this man before in my life."
I'll figure out a way to do that.
And
Thank
Lambert,
you.
and obviously
he has a
Lambert,
very specific mole on his thigh.
because he's Lambert, will give it away immediately.
Yeah.
That's my wish. My
I
other
can't
wish
wait for
is still to find out in some convoluted way that Yasmera and Wolf are dating.
Yeah.
Locked down.
Thank you, Van. Sid, you want to go next?
Yeah. I think my star has to go to Ben, actually, for that was sweet. We've been seeing all these lovely, more vulnerable sides of Ven the past couple of sessions, and that's just dang cute, and I loved it. I was just sitting here going, "Aw!" the whole time. It was great.
He has layers. It's like an
Yeah,
onion.
like an onion, like a blooming onion,
Like an ogre.
No, like a blooming onion. Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
That's how Van lives his life.
Hell yeah. My wish. I mean, we have to go through Deventer. I want to get up into some fucking shenanigans in Deventer. Yeah.
Well, you know me, I didn't plan for any shenanigans once you guys get to Minrathis.
No, never.
The
Is
beacons
Ty
are
Ty
lit.
coming with us?
That's
No,
Ministerious. Not the same.
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar.
Also, I'd
Awesome.
like to write like Civil War era letters to Wolf along the way. Hi, dearest Wolf. It's been so many days since I have seen. No, that's
The
a
wall
joke.
front
mainly.
is a bleak and dismal place.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. So, who's next?
It's
Wally.
me.
Wally, wanna
My star goes to Sid and Yasmera because seeing Yasmera flirt is so cute. Because she's so stoic all the time, but seeing her flirt is such a like a little palate cleanser. Because it's something she normally like to see her be like joking around and be flirty is something you normally don't see her do. So seeing her do that with Wolf really was so sweet. I was like, oh, she's flirting. I love it. And it's like her style of flirting, you know, the fact that she hid and did the whole sneak up behind it. That was just really cute. I really dug that. My wish, and this is a selfish wish for me, I really want Garas to just duel Valmont. Give him a reason to give him a reason that he has to give Valmont an official duel. You know, where like he gets his revenge on him in such a way that he has to duel him, you know, and that is something I really want for Garas, because I kind of like see it in my head how it would go, and it's kind of going one of two ways, and I don't know, and I really want to see how Garas would react to finally facing him face to face, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's my wish.
I think we're heading that way. So
I
we could
look
make
forward to
happen.
watching that.
Sita.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to give this star to Wally, because watching Garrus's struggle with everything that's going on, like, and the timing of the interaction with his dad, and having to put that into use almost immediately, and it's going to be over a continued period of time. Like, I really look forward to seeing that, you know, that veneer, that mask crack a little bit, and the fact that Garas has all this rage that just goes spilling out occasionally it's neat. And my wish, so I noticed something today. There is a cunning focus for brewing. And so I had this idea, because you were also talking, like, while I noticed that you were talking about the 6-month a passage of time. If we have any more passages of time like that, can we do like a almost like a parsling style group role with different skills that we could reason for brewing a specific like vintage of our wines?
Yeah.
So that, like, maybe, you know, like maybe one is better than another, or it's got, you know, I don't know. It's just it's a half-formed idea, but I think it could be cool.
Because of where I want to get to by the end of the story and how I want to end it, we will probably have a few more passages, skips between missions that will range from like 6 months to a year. So I think we will definitely do that. Yeah. Which means that also a lot of like, think big strokes with like character development. That's kind of why I was like, well, I think we can reasonably push the Yaz Wolf dynamic a bit further, and like the Venehn and Amara dynamic further, because y'all have been with each other, like doing this kind of stuff for months now instead of just like a week. So instead of getting into our fantasy games and being like, oh, y'all have fallen in love with each other, but actually in game time it's only been like 2 days or something, this adventure's been going on for, we're dealing with like actual time periods.
Except I set myself up with a cool X.
Yeah, you did set yourself with an X, so that will be interesting to see how that all turns out once y'all
Here's me with my
over.
tsundere girlfriend, so
yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I realized probably should have done something with Lucia too, but we can do that when we get
She
back.
can come with us.
You all have living lovers.
Carter,
Let's.
we keep saying this, Carter. We can find you a boyfriend.
let us hook you up.
We are
have
so
one.
good at
He's just dead.
I just don't think he would be sad if you had like a flesh and blood boyfriend until you died, and then you can join him, and then that's all good. Fine.
Because you keep on setting out that potter's wheel in the middle of the room, and you like, sit down expecting something to happen.
And honestly, Carter, it makes me so sad.
No, I have that spell now. It happens now.
Well, if it's going to start really happening, we're going to need you to move the pottery wheel out of the main area into your bedroom.
Yeah. That is going to be it for today. Sorry we've gone so over time, everyone.
No one else is sorry.
No one's sorry.
Thank you everyone out there for watching. We'll be back next week to continue our game. In the meantime, join us for everything else in between. Tomorrow for Escape Velocity at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Playing starts without numbers, so be there or be square. And that's it. Thank you everyone out there for watching. Thank you my lovely players.
Thank you for the game.
Of course. Thank you for being awesome and good role players. Otherwise, I don't know how I could role play having relationships with 4 of you. I mean, it's because you have a ghost boyfriend, Carter.
You're dating all of us right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. This is just my dating sim.
This is a secret Val dating sim.
We will see everyone same time next week, and until next time, good game and good night, internet.
Par-delà le temps, la menace grandit, si loin dans le gens ne se trompent point.